I want to talk about the struggle today. So I want to tell this story a little bit today, because all week long, I've been telling you, I gave you the framework. I gave you the exact steps that you can go and plug into your business, the strategy that I used to go from, that got me to 7 figures very, very quickly. And I talk about that a lot, but on the flip side, a lot of people look at that story, at that piece of it, right? And they think, or maybe, whatever, that I was this overnight success story, right? I thought what I had done in that career was impressive. And it was. I had a team of I think 10, 12 people. I was managing multi-million-dollar budgets. But I thought that was hard, right? And I thought in my head, my little engineering head, that if I could do that, then I could do anything. So I walked away from that job and I left behind this hefty paycheck, and I believed that I was almost entitled to success in anything that I did. After struggling for 2 years, I made a few shifts, and of course the rest is history. So this was early 2020, tail end of 2019, early 2020. I made a few shifts that I'm going to cover today, and then we got to 7 figures in 7 months. And I don't know why it took me so long, 2 years of struggling, of riding the struggle bus, before I made these shifts. I don't know if maybe I needed to quote unquote struggle a little longer. Maybe I needed to grow personally. Maybe I just needed to go through that to become the person that I needed to be to run a 7-figure business. I'm not sure. But what I'm going to talk about today can forever change the trajectory of your business. Number 1 is I stopped dabbling and I went all in. And when I really got real with myself, I realized that I could have made any of those 17 business ideas work. I could have, if I had just committed and gone all in. But I didn't. When I look back and I held up the mirror and I looked hard at the reflection that was staring back at me, I realized that as soon as something didn't work out for me, or as soon as I struggled a little bit, I either assumed I was a failure, I assumed it wasn't the right thing, or the thing didn't work, or whatever it was. And then I would pivot and I would try something different. When what I was really doing, when I really get real with myself, is that I was letting myself off the hook. I was giving myself an out. And then I woke up one day, at the tail end of 2019, and I realized, well, duh, Melissa, duh, there's no way you could have done any of this. No way that you could have gotten success in any of this stuff, because I was only giving 30% to anything. We become masters by going all in and committing to mastering one thing at a time. That's why, in what the strategy that I taught you this week is that we master the one offer and the one way to sell it, right? We master that before we move on to other things. That is one of the huge shifts that I made. This is not about trying to do a bunch of different things. This is about running the same drill over and over and over and over again. That's why we have our funnel bosses execute, 6 to 8 times, 6 to 8 times a year, because we want it to become muscle memory, right? For some reason, when we get into this entrepreneurship journey, we don't go all in like that. We don't give ourselves the room to master the skills that we need. But eventually, I did. And then guess what happened when I finally went all in on one business idea, right? I had one idea and I went all in on it. Guess what happened? Well, it wasn't like a big miracle. It wasn't like this overnight thing. I still felt like a failure. I still wanted to pivot. Every time something didn't go my way, I still felt that urge, that pull to go a different direction. But the difference is I didn't. Instead of giving up, instead of changing every time something got hard, I just pushed through it, and I learned from it, and I got back up to bat. And I still have to go through this, on the daily. It's never going to be easy. Now it's different struggles, and it looks different now as we're going from 7 to 8 figures. But every day I got to get back up to bat. And it can be super scary, right? It can be super scary. And so taking those leaps before you're ready has to happen. You have to get up to bat the first time, right? You have to do the scary thing the first time so that you can learn the skills to master them, right? And have the faith that you can figure it out. So number 2 is you have to create that space for the success before the success can come. If the only things that you do and the only decisions that you make are the ones that you have absolute certainty over, then you're never going to have a sustainable, scalable, multiple six, seven-figure business. It doesn't work that way. It never will. So I had to let go of my own tendencies and the way that I got into my own way, and I had to jump in because you can't build $1 million business based on fear. You can't. It doesn't work that way. And making those $1 million decisions comes before making $1 million. So I had to make some really scary decisions that open the door for the revenue to come in. So it's time to really step into your own power, right? As scary as it might be, show up, do the work, and then yes, it will work for you. So we have to move forward regardless, because this courage that's required to run a multiple six, seven-figure business, that courage is a muscle that you build. It's a muscle that you build. It doesn't happen overnight, I wish, right? Number 3 is look at your willingness to take risk. Your willingness to take risks. Because, again, this is the part that did not come natural to me. But all of this growth that has happened, it all came from taking risks. Every last piece of it. So if you're sitting here today and you're hoping that your customers, your clients are going to make the first move and invest in themselves when you're not investing in yourself and when you're not stretching yourself, if you're hoping they're going to do it when you're not doing it, it won't happen. It won't happen. Because part of what this is stepping into a leader who can actually lead people through a transformation that they can't get alone. At the end of the day, guys, commitment doesn't care how you feel. Commitment doesn't care how you feel. And I talked a lot this week about starting a different conversation, about being the difference, about being the reason that people can actually get results when they never have before, when they've been struggling, helping other people get off the struggle bus, right? And how can you do that for them if you're not willing to put your neck on the line a little bit? So what we have to remember is that we're not entitled to the success that we want, but you have to believe in yourself and you have to do the things that show you believe in yourself. So it's not just enough to believe in yourself, like you have to do the things that show that you believe in yourself if you want your audience to show up and pull out their credit cards. So make it happen. The decision is yours. You get to decide to end the struggle, to get off the struggle bus, no matter what your struggles are. If you're not willing to show up, do the work, take the risks, make the investments in order to get the results, then you're just not yet at the person that deserves the results. You can make the decision today to end the struggle. And that's what I want to leave you with after all of this week that we've been going through, because I've given you all the pieces, I've shown you what the next steps are, and now it's up to you to take all this information, take all of this knowledge, and go develop the skills, go run the drills, go get back up to bat, and master it. And it is the shortest path to get you from where you are to where you ultimately want to go. I love you so much. I'm so proud of all the results that you've had this week. I'm so proud of all the progress that you're making, and I just beg of you, my one ask as we shut this all down is to don't let the ball stop rolling. You've worked so hard to gain this momentum, and I don't want to see it go away. That would be heartbreaking for me, okay? I love you so much. I've had so much fun with you, and we'll talk to you soon.